Want to be unshakable no matter what life throws at you? Ask yourself these 10 Stoic questions every day to transform your mindset. Stoicism is an ancient philosophy, but its wisdom is incredibly relevant today. It teaches us how to build mental resilience, focus on what matters, and lead a meaningful life. Today, I'll share 10 questions inspired by Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus. These questions are more than just words, they're a toolkit for navigating life with purpose and calm. Question 1. What can I control today? Much of our anxiety comes from trying to control the uncontrollable. This question allows you to channel your energy into things that you actually have influence over. Focus on your thoughts, actions, and responses, and you'll find yourself feeling much more empowered. I used to get stressed over traffic, thinking it ruined my whole day. But one day, instead of cursing the jam, I asked myself, what can I control? My response, my patience. So, I turned on an audiobook and used the time to learn something new. Question 2. Is this truly important? How often do we stress over things that, in the bigger picture, mean very little? This question is about decluttering your mind and focusing on what's essential. Imagine you're on your deathbed. Would this still matter to you? Once, I found myself in a heated argument over a minor issue at work. Then I paused and asked myself, is this really important? I realized it wasn't worth losing my peace over. This helped me let go and refocus on my larger goals. Question 3. What would a wise person do when facing a tough situation? Sometimes it helps to step back and imagine what a wise mentor would do. Marcus Aurelius did this often. He'd think of Socrates or even a mentor from his life. The idea is to gain a different perspective, one that's wiser and more detached. Recently, I was tempted to react angrily to some online criticism, but instead, I asked, what would a wise person do? A wise person wouldn't give their energy to such negativity. They'd focus on what they can learn. So, that's what I tried to do. Question 4. How will I view this in 5 years? This question zooms out your perspective. It's easy to get consumed by what seems like a crisis today, but by asking how you'll view this situation 5 years from now, it usually becomes clear that most worries are just momentary. Years ago, I messed up a presentation at work, and it felt like the end of the world. But when I asked myself how I'd view it 5 years from now, I realized it was just a tiny blip on the radar of my life. I smiled, picked myself up, and moved forward. Question 5. How can I practice gratitude today? Gratitude is foundational to Stoic wisdom. It changes your focus from what you lack to what you have. Seneca advised to remember that every possession, every breath is a gift. Every morning, I jot down 3 things I'm grateful for. Like my health, my friends, even small things like a warm cup of tea. It centers me and helps me face the day with a sense of abundance rather than scarcity. Question 6. Am I prepared to let go of this? Everything we have is borrowed: our possessions, our relationships, even our life. This question is about cultivating detachment and being prepared for change. The Stoics taught that true freedom lies in understanding that nothing is permanently ours. I remember losing my first car, one that I'd worked so hard to buy. I was devastated, but I reminded myself that this is part of life's ebb and flow. Am I prepared to let go? The answer was hard, but it gave me peace. Question 7. What's the worst that could happen? This question is about confronting fear. Often, we avoid challenges because we imagine the worst, but we never actually take time to understand what the worst is. By facing it directly, we often find that even the worst-case scenario is manageable. When I thought of starting a YouTube channel, I was paralyzed by fear. But then I asked myself, what's the worst that could happen? People might not like it, sure, but I'd learn, improve, and ultimately be better for it. Confronting this helped me start, and I haven't looked back since. Question 8. Am I living according to my values? We often make choices that feel convenient rather than right. This question is a reminder to live authentically. Marcus Aurelius wrote extensively about staying true to one's values even when it's uncomfortable. I once had an opportunity to make some extra money in a way that wasn't fully aligned with my values. I paused and asked myself, am I living according to my values? The answer was no, and even though it was a tough call, I said no. The inner peace I gained from staying true was worth much more. Question 9. How can I make the best use of this moment? Time is our most valuable resource. The Stoics believed that wasting time is akin to losing a part of your life. Ask yourself how you can make the most of now, whether it's resting intentionally, being fully present with loved ones, or focusing deeply on your work. Instead of endlessly scrolling through my phone at night, I asked myself, how can I make the best use of this moment? I put my phone away and picked up a book I'd been meaning to read. It was a small shift, but one that left me feeling far more fulfilled. Question 10. Who am I becoming? Every choice we make shapes the person we are becoming. The Stoics believed that character is the cornerstone of a meaningful life. By asking yourself this question, you ensure that your daily actions align with the person you want to be. There was a time when I struggled with consistency in my habits. Then I asked myself, who am I becoming? The answer wasn't the disciplined, resilient person I aspired to be. This reflection pushed me to make changes and commit to daily actions that reflected my true values. Let's quickly revisit the 10 Stoic questions that can transform your life. 1. What can I control today? Start by focusing only on what you can control. 2. Is this truly important? Cut out the noise and focus on what really matters. 3. What would a wise person do? Seek guidance by imagining the actions of someone wiser. 4. How will I view this in 5 years? Shift your perspective by zooming out. 5. How can I practice gratitude today? Ground yourself in what you have, not what you lack. 6. Am I prepared to let go of this? Recognize that everything in life is temporary. 7. Be what's the worst that could happen? Face your fears by confronting the worst scenario. 8. Am I living according to my values? Ensure your actions align with who you truly are. 9. How can I make the best use of this moment? Maximize the potential of each moment. And finally, who am I becoming? Reflect on the person you're shaping through your choices. These questions aren't just daily reflections, they're a map to navigate life's challenges with clarity and resilience. By asking yourself these questions, you become the architect of your own mindset. You develop the strength to weather storms, the clarity to pursue what truly matters, and the wisdom to live in alignment with your values. The Stoics remind us that transformation doesn't happen overnight, but through consistent reflection and action. So start today. The journey to a more resilient, fulfilled life begins with the questions you choose to ask yourself. Which question will you start with? Let me know in the comments below. And if you're ready to continue this journey toward self-mastery, subscribe for more practical Stoic wisdom. The power to transform your life is always within your control. It's just one question away.